Welcome to Grammar Bites. In this video we'll look at the passive in more detail. Here's a quick reminder how we make the passive. We use to be plus the past participle of the verb, or verb 3. To be changes to show tense, but we always use the third form of the verb. We can use the passive in most tenses by changing the verb to be. We can use it with modal verbs. We can also use it with infinitive forms and ing forms. Here are some examples of the passive with different tenses and forms. The Turkish Republic was founded in 1923. Equal pay disputes have been resolved by the union. After the fault had been detected, he was able to fix the problem. Is it possible for this project to be finished by the end of the month? There is a chance of the launch being delayed due to technical problems. And here are some examples of the passive, but with modal verbs. Something must be done about the traffic in this town. It's terrible. Your project needs to be submitted by 12 noon on Monday. The medicine should be taken with a glass of water. Note, although we can use the passive with the present perfect continuous tense, we often avoid it. The road has been being repaired all morning. To a native speaker, this sounds odd. We would use some more natural alternatives here, such as using the present perfect continuous as an active sentence. They have been repairing the road all morning. Or alternatively, if we wanted to use the passive, we'd probably use the present continuous passive. The road is being repaired at the moment. So why do we use the passive? Well, for a number of reasons. Firstly, we often use it when the doer is either obvious, unimportant, or unknown. Sports are played in most schools in the country. It's obvious that children play the sports. It's said that he will retire next month. It is unimportant, or maybe unknown who said this. My wallet and phone have been stolen. We know it was a thief, but it may be unknown exactly who that thief was. Or maybe I don't care. The important thing is the action, not who did that action. Another reason to use the passive is to place the focus and attention on the action, rather than the person or the doer. Measures have been introduced to prevent crime in the city centre. The first shuttle was launched in 1981. The new light rail network will be funded by private investors. Over 70% of the world's hazelnuts are produced in Turkey. Another reason to use the passive is when information is already known. When the listener knows the subject of the discussion, the passive is often more likely. The government has promised to improve transport facilities. This will be carried out in consultation with local businesses. In the second sentence, this means the situation mentioned in the first sentence. As the listener has the information already, the passive is common, because we don't need to repeat the process or the doer. The union went on strike due to working conditions. It had been agreed after a private vote by members. Again, here, it in the second sentence refers back to the first sentence, so passive is common to avoid repeating information. The passive is often used in formal writing to focus again on action or process rather than the doer. The research findings show that 20% of prisoners were rehabilitated successfully after they had been taught new skills. The test was conducted after the samples had been examined by experts. All solutions were then analysed under a microscope. Note that in the second example we have a by phrase to state the doer, but as this is at the end of the clause, the focus is still on the action. As we just saw, the by phrase can be included to give information about the doer of the action. Sometimes the by phrase isn't needed. perhaps because the doer is obvious or unknown, but other times it is important or even necessary for the sentence to be complete. The local factory will be closed by the regulator due to breaches of safety legislation. The new trains are controlled by an advanced computer system. The first sentence makes sense without the by phrase, but including it tells us who the doer is. But in the second, we don't have enough information until the by phrase is added. So, in the second sentence, the by phrase is essential. A more informal passive structure is the get passive, which uses the verb get plus the third form of the verb. But this can only be used with action verbs, not states. Some popular get passive structures are get paid, get promoted, get fired, get caught, get notified, get elected, get damaged, or get told off. Here are some examples. The whole team will get fired by the new manager if they cannot fix the problems. My phone got damaged when it fell on the floor. I hope to get promoted soon. The thief got caught stealing a car. He got told off for running up a huge bill on online games. In English, we often use two objects with some verbs, such as the verbs like give, show, send, and tell. For these, there are two possible passive forms. Which one we use depends on the information we want to focus on. Here is an example. The teacher is giving information to the class. Here we have two objects, information and the class. We can use the passive to focus on the first object. Information is being given to the class. Or we can focus on the second object. The class is being given information. Another example. Here again we have two objects after the verb, her and the important new contract. In the passive, we can focus on the first object. She was offered the important new contract. Or we can focus on the second object. The important new contract was offered to her. Now it's your turn. Please check the link below the video for more practice. Have a great day.